For rust removal on all metal surfaces, got the Paraguard XL, and very simple to apply. So for the purposes of the video, we'll show you just a small amount. I'm using the paintbrush here. You can use cloth. Just work it into the staining so you can treat the entire piece of metal there. Try and get a little foam going if you can. So you can apply the same with the cloth. Same thing. Just work it in. It's easier to get the foam going with the brush, but it does the same thing. Basically apply and leave that for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then you should find that the rust is starting to lift. May need to reapply depending on the amount of rust there is. Very light tea staining should come off. Very easy. The brush, just agitate the product, create a little foam. Maybe not quite so obvious on the video, but you can just see it's starting to discolour as it lifts some of the rust into the liquid. More severe rusting, as you can see on the back of this faceplate here. Same procedure. Brush it in, agitate the liquid, creating a foam. It will leave visible scratching when you're a bit more aggressive, but the trade-off is that you'll have no rust. Okay. Using an abrasive cloth, and this is a very light abrasive. You can use much heavier abrasives. Just work the liquid in, and this will take 3 or 4 attempts to lift, but you might be able to make it out on the video. The rust here is slowly starting to come up. This is on the first application. Again, leave it for 10-15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, whatever, to work in, clean, and then retreat until all the rust is gone. Right, so the rust remover has been on for about 20-25 minutes. Occasional bit of agitation just to keep the foam going, but you'll see, I'm sure, on the video that the rust is gradually disappearing. And even on the heavily stained, it's starting to lift up slightly, as you can see in these areas here that are starting to clear, but with a little bit of light agitation, I'm not putting any pressure on this. Going with the grain. You see that has lifted most of the rust from that surface. Just another application and that should disappear altogether. In the case of the heavily stained, some just little Scotch-Brite pads, and again, no real pressure. You can see the rust is starting to come up. I say I'm not putting any pressure on this at all. The remaining little bits you can apply another coat, and a little bit of agitation. Again, leave that for 15 to 20 minutes. And occasionally just come back, agitate the foam just to make sure that it doesn't dry out. And again, that will start to lift and remove. They are heavily stained one. You can see. Now you can see the lines where I was just lightly rubbing. But again, like I say, this is a trade-off against getting rid of the rust. You'll have some small scratching. But once you apply the top coat, that should hardly be noticeable. So after 20 minutes or so, we're just again going with the grain. I'm not putting any pressure, just lightly rubbing. You can see the rust is lifting up. A little bit more stubborn stains. Again, you may need to retreat. And the stain is virtually disappeared. You should see. Wipe that off. And that has pretty much lifted the rust off. For the more heavily stained pitting, you may see dark marks, which unfortunately, once it's pitted into the metal, it's going to be very hard to remove the black staining. But as I say, with the abrasive cloths, you can get it almost completely gone. And then once it's treated with the degreaser and then the Paraguard Plus, you have a nice shiny surface which will prevent the rust from coming back. We'll treat the area with the degreaser. As you can see, nice and clean, barely see any staining at all. And then using, again, lint-free cloth, and apply and go with the grain to ensure you cover all the area. You'll notice the material will change colour. This is quite normal, it's just the treatment going on the top. So again, allow that to dry before you retreat if necessary.